Hi everyone, welcome to the Dataholics YouTube channel. And today's video is also in continuation of our DSA series using Python, right? So by till now we have discussed about algorithmic time complexity. How do we calculate time complexity? We have solved some problems on it. Then we have discussed about recursion and its some of its problem statements and towers of Hanoi n queens problem statement. After that, we have also discussed about linear search, binary search, and some problems related to binary search on lead code. Correct. So now comes the topic of sorting. So sorting, as we already know, that sorting means to sort any data in ascending or descending order, right? So like from smaller to larger or larger to smaller, right? So there are a few types of sorting algorithms which we can implement using Python also. That is bubble sort, insertion sort, selection sort, quick sort, and merge sort, right? So in this and the upcoming videos, we are going to discuss these different types of sorting, their algorithm, and their code and implementation using Python, right? So first is very simple, very intuitive, and very easy to understand. That is bubble sort, right? So bubble sort is like if I tell you the theory, if I discuss about some of the theory in bubble sort. So bubble sort is like bubbles in water. Like let's say whenever you have seen some soda or water, there are some bubbles in it, and you will observe it, like due to some physics phenomena, the largest bubble goes to the upper side initially, followed by the smaller bubbles, then followed by other smaller bubbles, and so on, right? So we repeatedly in bubble sort, how does it work is we repeatedly compare the adjacent elements, the neighbor elements. We repeatedly compare adjacent neighbor elements, swap them if they are in the wrong order. Like let's say we have to sort the data in ascending order, so we will swap it if it is not already there, and the largest element, that is the bubble up, comes to the end initially, right? So for example, I will show you this through a visualization very clearly. So this is the website visualgo.net, and I found it on internet. It is very easy to understand. So like let's say this is the array in which the elements are 35, 11, 38, 7, 14, 48, and 45, right? And these are the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I click on sort here, you will see first they are comparing 35 and 11. And since we have to sort this data in ascending order, 35 is larger, so 35 is swapped, right? Next, we will compare 35 and 38. Since it is already sorted in sorted order, 35 is less than 38. So there is no swapping needed. See, 35 and 38 are compared, no swapping. Then 38 and 7 are compared. So since 7 is smaller than 38, they are swapped. Then 38 and 14 will be compared. Tell me, what will happen? 14 is smaller than 38, so it will be swapped again. Like this. Then 38 and 48 will be compared. Since 48 is already larger and it is on the right side, so it is already maintaining the ascending order, right? So no swapping. Then 45 and 48, if swap is needed, right? So this is the first iteration, correct? So in bubble sort, what happens is after one iteration, the largest element goes to the right. Since we are sorting in ascending order, so the largest element will go to the right. If we were sorting it in descending order, so the smallest element would have gone to the right, right? So basically this is how bubble sort works. We compare each neighbor elements with each other. If they are already in the proper order, then okay. Otherwise swap. After one whole iteration, the largest element comes to the rightmost, right? So let's move forward. So for 48, which is the largest element, has come to the rightmost. Now, in the second iteration, we will not go till the last of the array, because 48, which is already in the sorted part. So we will only start from 0th index and go till 5. I hope that makes sense. It will reduce some number of iterations as well. So it will have better time complexity. I hope I'm making sense, right? So in the second iteration, since the last element is already sorted, so we will not go till the last element. We will go till the 5th index, right? So see, 11 and 35 are compared, so already sorted, so no swapping. 35 and 7, there is a swapping. 35 and 14, swapping again. 35, 38, no swapping. 38, 45, no swapping. 45, 48, no swapping, right? So now carefully again, this is the end of second iteration. After second iteration, two elements, at the rightmost. So once you visualize it very carefully, now you will be able to understand how bubble sort works. Right? Then 11 and 7 swapping is needed. No swapping is needed further. Right? So this is the end of third iteration. Right? So now moving forward. See, in this iteration, in the fourth iteration, there is no swapping done. No swapping is done. And that's where the loop stops. Right? Because since no swapping is done in the whole iteration, we have traversed the whole array, but no swapping is needed. That means all the elements are already sorted. So there is no need of swapping, right? I hope you are able to understand the whole visualization. Let me just play it again. 3511 swapping is needed. 3538 no swapping. 3837 swapping. 3814 swapping. 3848 no swapping. 4845 swapping. End of first iteration. So just visualize it very, very carefully. I will give this link in the description as well, so that you can go and visualize this whole working. And not only bubble sort, you can also visualize insertion sort, selection sort, merge sort, all other types of sorting. Correct? So that's all about the understanding of bubble sort, right? Now let us try to write the code. How do we write the code for bubble sort? See, I always believe, and it is my firm belief, that once we understand the application, we can easily be able to write the algorithm and the code for any problem statement. Right? So let's say we will start from the index of first index for I in range. For I in range 0 to n. Right? So this loop is for iterations. First iteration, second iteration, and so on. In each iteration, we will first check is swap is equal to false. So after each iteration, right, we will make the swap variable false. So if any swapping is done, we will make it true. Otherwise, it will remain false, right? So let's say in one iteration, let's say the elements are already sorted like this, 7, 11, then 30, 14, then 35, 38, 45, and 48. Let's say there comes a stage like this after some iterations. So you will see that there is no swapping done. So after that iteration, the swap variable will be false itself. The whole iteration, we have traversed the whole array, but still there is no swapping done. That means all the elements are already swapped, and that is where we will break our loop. I hope that is making sense, right? Otherwise, it will keep iterating n times. In this case, if we see that all the elements are already sorted, no swapping is needed, then we can break our loop before n iterations. So it will give better time complexity. Right? So this is the thing. Then we will also make another loop for comparing the adjacent elements for j in range from 0 till n minus I minus y. Why this? I'll tell you. See, there is the values of I, the loop should go till the last. That means 6. For the value of I, when I was 0, the loop should go till the last element. But after first iteration, the last element will be sorted. So when I will become 1 in the second iteration, it should go to the 5th index. At the value of 2, then when the value of I increases in the third iteration, it should go till 4, because after 2 iterations, 2 elements, that is 45 and 48, will be sorted. So we will have to come to before 45. If you see here, after first iteration, I'll show you. Sorry, bubble sort. See, this was the first iteration happening. Yeah. So after first iteration, one element is sorted. 39 is at the last, which is the largest. This is second iteration going on. After second iteration, 34 is also at the last. So in the next iteration, we will go till 4th index only. And that is what I am writing here. When the value of I was 2, that is the third iteration, it should go till 4th index. Right? Similarly, when the value of I will 3, it will go till 3rd index, and so on and so forth. And if you see this relationship, n is equal to 7, the number of elements in the array. So this is n minus I minus 1. 7 minus 0 minus 1, 6. N minus I minus 1. So let me just remove this. So n minus I minus 1. See, 7 minus 1 minus 1, 5. 7 minus I value is 2 minus 1, 4. 7 minus 3 minus 1, 3, right? And so on and so forth. So this is the relation. So n minus I minus 1. That is my J loop, correct? Then I will take if array of J. So this is what we are writing for ascending order for now, right? If array of J is greater than array of J plus 1, that means the previous element is greater than the next element. Sorry, the current element is greater than the next element. For example, 35 is greater than 11. So there should be swapping, correct? So we will come inside the if statement and we will swap. How do we swap? Array of J, comma, array of J plus 1 is equal to array of J plus 1, comma, array of J. Right? Array of J. So this is how it works. I hope that is understood. So since the previous current element is greater than the next element, so we will have to swap. And then we can also count the number of swaps, correct? And then that's all. And we will make the swap variable true. Is swap, because there is some swapping done inside the if statement. So we will make the swap variable true, right? Then come out of the for J loop, and that's how it works, right? After coming out of the for loop, J loop actually. So we will check if is swap equals to false. That means no swapping is done. In the whole iteration, while traversing the whole array, there is no swapping done because initially swap was false. Currently it is also false. So that means all the elements are sorted already. So break the loop. And that's the code for bubble sort, right? So let me take you to Google Colab and quickly see the code. Right. So algorithm is this: start from index 0, compare the adjacent elements. Adjacent means neighbor elements, right? Swap if left is greater than right. Of course, previous element is greater than the next element. So swap, repeat till the end. And after each pass, largest element is fixed. After each iteration, the largest element is fixed. Correct. So this is the code for bubble sort. See guys, define bubble sort. N is equal to length of array. We will first make the loop of I for iterations. Iterations, right? Yeah. As swap is equal to false. Then for next loop for J, and see J is from 0 till n minus I minus 1, right? Because after each iteration, the last element will be fixed. So if the current element is greater than the next element, so swap is needed. This is how we are swapping it. Then we will make the is swap variable true because some swapping is done. So we are making it true. But after coming out of the J loop, if is swap equal to false, that means no swapping is done. That means all the elements are already sorted. So break the loop, right? And finally, we will create an array like this, let's say, and we will call bubble sort array print array. So you will see the array is sorted. So this is the code for ascending order. But how do we sort it in descending order? Only one change. We will just compare this element array of J. If the previous element is smaller than the next element, so we will swap. That's all. Everything else will be same. And see, this is working for descending order. And no matter what, if there are duplicates or not, everything will work fine, right? So this is the difference between ascending and descending order in this comparison operator, correct? So that's all about this video in which we have studied about bubble sort. In the next video, we will see about insertion sort and other sorting techniques using Python, right? So I hope you must have understood the concept of sorting and bubble sort specifically. How do we sort in bubble sort and ascending order and descending order? There is one quick assignment which I want to give you. If you can do it, please do it and share your solution in the comments. In the same question, I want you to count the number of swapping done. Count number of swaps. So for example, in this case, if we start, so we compare 39 and 21, there will be one swap. Then we will compare 39 and 8, there will be again one swap. Then we will compare 39 and 27, there will be one swap. So see, 39, 21, there is one swapping. 13, 8, second swapping, and so on and so forth. So these are the number of swappings which I want you to calculate through this code, right? If you can do it, please share your code in the comments. Or if you are not able to do it, let me know. I will forward the code to you, right? So that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.